Is there a timeline where the US isn't a superpower?
Yeah.
Send me there. Here's something that'll mess with your head.
The United States, 4% of the world's population, that's it. But somehow it controls the currency that most of the world uses to store their wealth. It runs 750 military bases in 80 countries, and it makes up about a quarter of everything produced on this planet. No empire in history has ever done that. Rome didn't, Britain didn't, the Mongols definitely didn't. Though, to be fair, they were more of a burn it down and keep moving kind of operation. So, what happens when that ends? Not if, when. Because here's the thing. Most people haven't really thought about what the world looks like the day America stops being America. We're all too busy arguing about other stuff. Let's start with something simple. Shipping. You know how you can order like a single phone case from China and it just shows up at your door? That's because about 80% of everything traded globally moves by sea. And those ocean routes, they're only safe because the US Navy patrols them. The Persian Gulf, the South China Sea, the Strait of Hormuz, all of it. American ships out there making sure nobody messes with the boats carrying your impulse purchases. Now imagine that stops. Suddenly, those lanes aren't safe anymore. China starts making moves in the South China Sea, which, honestly, they're already doing. Regional powers start demanding payments from ships passing through like some kind of ocean toll booth. And just like that, the cost of moving anything, anywhere, goes through the roof. That phone case you ordered? Yeah, that's $47 now. Congrats. But that's just the beginning. Let's talk about the dollar. And I promise this is more interesting than it sounds. Right now, over half of all money moving around the world involves US dollars. That's wild when you realize America only does about 10% of actual global trade. So why is everyone using dollars? Because you need them. Countries need dollars to buy oil. They need dollars to trade with each other, even when America isn't involved at all. It's like how everyone ends up using Google Docs, even though nobody really loves Google Docs. It's just what works. The whole system runs on one basic idea, that the dollar is safe, it's stable, and it's backed by the biggest military on the planet. Take that away, the whole thing starts to crack. Sure, the euro steps in a bit, China pushes its currency hard, but nobody trusts either one enough to really replace the dollar. So what you end up with is just chaos. Multiple currencies fighting for dominance, exchange rates all over the place, international loans getting repriced overnight. Remember 2008, the financial crisis, when everyone lost their minds? Yeah, that would look like a warm-up round. And then, the wars start. Fun, right? Look, there's a reason we haven't seen a direct war between major world powers since 1945. When one country is strong enough to set the rules, everyone else does the math and realizes fighting isn't worth it. But take away that strength, the math changes. Taiwan is the obvious one. China has never accepted that Taiwan is independent. They've been pretty clear about that. The only thing stopping them is the American military presence in the region. Remove that, and the clock starts ticking immediately. And here's why you should care. Taiwan makes about 90% of the world's most advanced computer chips, the ones in your phone, in AI systems, in everything that makes modern life work. If China takes Taiwan, they don't just get an island, they get control of the resource that runs the entire digital world. So yeah, suddenly that situation matters a lot more than your news feed made it seem. Meanwhile, NATO falls apart. The US pays for about 70% of NATO's military. Without that, all those Eastern European countries that joined specifically because they were scared of Russia, they're suddenly on their own. And you don't even need an actual invasion. Just make the threat real enough, and smaller countries start cutting deals to survive. It's like negotiating with your landlord when you know he holds all the cards. Now here's the part nobody talks about. What happens to America itself? Because the dollar being the world's currency, that means America can borrow money cheaper than anyone else. It means America can spend way more than it makes without facing the consequences other countries would face. It's basically having the world's best credit card with no real limit. That advantage? Gone overnight. Here's the uncomfortable part. Most of the world actually resents American dominance. And honestly, they've got reasons. The military bases feel like occupation to some people. The dollar thing feels like financial control. And American foreign policy has genuinely hurt a lot of places, damage that rarely gets weighed against the stability the system provides. But here's the gap. Wanting American power to end and being ready for what comes next, those are two different things. It's like wanting to quit your terrible job before you have another one lined up. Feels good in theory, terrifying in practice. Because what comes next isn't some peaceful, equal world where everyone holds hands. It's China, Russia, and a bunch of regional powers all fighting to fill the vacuum. And history's pretty clear on how that goes. The last time the world had multiple big powers and no clear leader? 2 world wars in 30 years. So, not great. I'm not saying America is the good guy here. I'm saying vacuum powers are dangerous. And the vacuum left by the world's only superpower? That would be the biggest one in modern history. The wild part? Nobody's ready for it. Not America, not China, not Europe. Nobody. And the really unsettling thing? It might already be happening.